Do you think we need more wood for the fire, Rorschach?
What's the point? We're gonna move on soon enough anyway.
I suppose you're right. I suppose you're right. This thing, this mission that we're about to set out on, you know, it's very likely that we're not going to make it back alive, right?
Well, we know set from the start, we're gonna make this all the way through. We're gonna kill the devil. You would free this land, you would get back to your life, and then there'd be stories written all over about us.
And I think you're right, there will be stories, but just think about it, even if we get in there, even if we kill him, he has minions, hundreds, I don't know how many he has over there. They're going to come and find us. Don't you think this is just going to be us going out in some kind of blaze of glory? That would mean our deaths, though.
Yeah, I suppose we could die. What's your point?
Do you ever think about what will come after? About life after death?
Well, I know you wouldn't think it, but I have been reading this and that on it. This and those scriptures that I come past. But I not really find something that appeals to me. I suppose you've got it all figured out with your gods and stuff.
Well, it is a central part of belief, of faith, to think about the question of what happens after death. Lathander teaches us that we become part of his light, part of his rays that light up the universe, forever bringing light into the darkness. And there's something beautiful about that, about being part of something greater. But Rorschach, I don't know if my family will be there. My son. I wouldn't want to be without him.
Do you mean that this only applies to those who follow him, I suppose? Priests and stuff, or common people too?
The teachings are fairly clear. It is, you have to live by the rules, and you must not stray into the darkness, and that is exactly what my son did. And that is how he died. I am not sure that there's forgiveness waiting for him.
Well, what else would there be? You think he's stuck in some sort of limbo? Is that it?
I don't know. Cold grave. Nothingness, darkness.
Well, he lives on with you in a way, doesn't he? He's in your memory. Isn't that why you're seeing him in this place? Your memories and your visions are bringing him back, although in a slightly disturbing fashion. I mean, just because he's gone doesn't mean that his life didn't mean anything.
Thank you for saying that, Rorschach. It means a lot to hear that. What would you like to have happen when your time comes? And I'm sure it won't come now. You will fight through this. I know that much.
Well, I don't mind too much, thinking about that. I'd rather just stick to what's happening here and now. I'd rather be thinking about what I'll do when I've won through. If I die, I'll just be dead. And my failures, I suppose, dead along with me. All the things that I tried to do but didn't manage to. All my fellow orcs that I couldn't save. My family that kicked me out in the end. I don't know. Maybe it's... if it comes now, it's for the better in one way. I wouldn't have time to make more failures.
This would be a fitting place to die. This would become quite a story. But the fire is dying, and I think it's about time for us to leave.
Yeah. What's that on the horizon? Looks like birds.
You're right.
This is Red Moon Roleplaying. Castle Ravenloft trembles behind you, slowly beginning to collapse on its very foundations. You do not have time to pay attention to this, though, for your attention is distracted. Rahadin has just struck down Esmeralda hard in the side, bringing her down to the ground. He stands before you, blade ready. He is wounded still, but he is barring your path. What do you do?
Allow us to pass, Rahadin. The fight is over. The Count is dead, and this time, finally, he is now gone into a rest that he will not awaken from, and there is no point in you joining him. Take this opportunity to flee.
You think me a coward, priest. You think me a dog, like the pair of you. I am no such man. Unlike you, half-breed, he looks at you, Rorschach. I know honor. You will die for your trespass. He gets his blade ready to strike. What do you do?
That's what I hoped to hear, you filthy knife ears, and I charge at him.
Everyone roll initiative.
19.
9.
Rahadin steps forward, wielding his wicked-looking scimitar, charging straight towards you, Rorschach. Esmeralda is in trouble, Roman. She's on the floor, bleeding heavily. Still, for the moment, he seems to be ignoring her and focusing on Rorschach. As he charges forward, he smiles. Dogs deserve to die in their kennels, half-breed. You will pay for your crimes. You will die here with us all. And he wields his blade. Yet, his movements are slower than before, Rorschach. You are able initially to defend quite well. One blow goes against your shield, the other clangs on your other side, but he can just attack so many times. One blow does streak down your arm. You take 9 damage. And then, once again, you feel the anger of 1,000 voices screaming in both your ears, in pain, in anguish, in fury. If anything, they sound more incensed than before. All of you must make a wisdom saving throw.
15.
11.
You both are unable to ignore this. The pain is immense as you take 16 psychic damage each. You notice on the floor Esmeralda sort of roaring away, just in time. Perhaps maybe not as affected by this as you two have been. Lucky for her, though, she doesn't seem in very good shape. Roman, it's your turn. What do you do?
Seeing that we're all in bad shape now, I realize that I must call upon Lathander to heal our wounds. I will bring forth my holy symbol, and I will channel divinity. I bring back 15 hit points to all 3 of us.
You radiate healing energy. Once again, closing wounds that have literally just opened. You notice Esmeralda sort of lean up off the floor, taking a heavy breath, and nod. She looks in slightly better shape, certainly enough to pounce on Rahadin from behind. She grabs her weapon that she just dropped, yelling, Gods damn you, foe! And dives straight into him. He parries one blow from her, but then her silvered short sword goes straight into his side. He grunts from this injury. Rorschach, it is your turn. What do you do?
Before I can retort at his words, the voices come over me, and I am weary from the battle, so I can do nothing but grind my teeth and try to steel my reserve and focus my attacks at him now. I go for a feinting attack towards him, swiping around my shield and following up with the sword, giving me advantage on the attack. And that looks good. 30.
That's a hit. Roll damage.
11 damage.
And you bring your sword down into his side, scoring a good gash. He is bleeding heavily now from quite a lot of wounds. Still, he seems incensed, enraged. The demeanour from before is gone, Rorschach. This is no smug individual. This is an individual ready to die.
Well, he has resolve. I'll give him that. But I quickly follow up with another attack. 20.
Roll damage.
9.
And you clip him around the head with the butt of your blade, sending him stumbling back a little, bleeding from the nose.
And I end my turn.
Esmeralda moves into position, angry herself at having been struck from behind. Rahadin responds to this by aiming a slash in her direction. He strikes her in the side. She lets out an exhaltation of pain and falls to a knee. He grins at this and moves forwards to go again. And again, he hits. She goes down. He has his blade at her throat. Does anyone do something? Rorschach, she's about to be cut in two.
Like I said, I'm weary and the voices are tearing at me. I try to follow his movements. I try to find an opening. But I am too distracted by it all and the shakings of the ground at the castle to say anything.
There is a moment of pause as Esmeralda falls down to the ground. She has her weapon ready to defend, but she has taken so many blows. Rahadin raises his scimitar high. Do any of you do anything to try and stop this?
I stagger a bit at the shakings of the ground. I see her falling, but instead of sacrificing myself to get her away, I would rather try and find an opening to kill this worthy foe and be out of here.
And I begin to cast my spell, but knowing that it will take too long. But I will smite this foe. If I cannot save her, then I will burn him in revenge.
And he bears down upon Esmeralda, knocks her weapon aside, and plunges his sword straight through her chest. She screams in agony, and then falls back, bleeding heavily on the floor. Roman, it is your turn. What do you do?
Seeing that she has gone down, I change my mind. Something within me says that no, not revenge, not burning. No, I must save her. She has sacrificed so much for us. Lathander would expect nothing less. And I move up and I lay my hands upon her and I cast Cure Wounds, bringing back 15 hit points.
You rush over to Esmeralda, literally plunging your hands deep into her wound to heal as directly as you can. She lets out an agonized cry of pain. You feel the strands of life, Roman, almost fading, but somehow you just about managed to catch her, and the wounds are starting to heal. She can barely do anything on her turn, unfortunately. She is simply trying to recover. You also at this point notice Rahadin tilt his head, look at you, and ready himself to bring his blade down on your head. Rorschach, it's your turn. What do you do? Roman is over Esmeralda, about to be struck.
And I finally find a grip with my feet, and I charge forward with a huge, almost clumsy swing of my shield to try and knock him aside and knock him down. So it's an athletics check versus his acrobatics. or athletics if he prefers that. I rolled 12.
You move forward and smash your shield as hard as you can into Rahadin, sending him sprawling to the ground, where he now lays on the floor.
And I bring up my sword to bear it down on him and try to finish him off. And in the same action, in the same move, I bring my blade up and slash down on him. 28.
Roll damage.
13.
You bring your blade down hard, directly into his chest. Your sword of fire, of light, burning as it radiates into him. He coughs and splutters as you practically have him pinned out into the floor, your blade literally going slightly into the ground itself. At this point, Roman, you notice the ground shaking. The castle is getting ready to come down, likely topple off the very foundations itself. Rahadin is, to be honest, out of the way now. It's literally the courtyard, the drawbridge, and you'll be safe.
Yes, I see, though, that Esmeralda is still in bad shape, and I again lay my hands upon her, curing her wounds. I wish her to live through this, as all three of us hopefully will. And I cast Cure Wounds.
And even more wounds begin to close on her person. She's able to get up again. She looks a bit confused, tired. The scars are quite bad, but she nods and coughs and remarks, "Yes, thank you, priest. Come, quickly." And she sort of grasps you by the shoulder and leads you onwards, moving past Rorschach, moving you towards the drawbridge. You notice one of the chains is already starting to bend and crack. The drawbridge will soon lose its stability. You do not have much time. A deafening crash comes behind you. You look up and see the central tower of Ravenloft is already collapsing into the building itself. Dust and smoke are everywhere.
Brother, Rorschach, time to go.
And I twist the blade around and then call it back into the scabbard, bringing out a dirk from the side of my pack, and I quickly cut his throat to ensure that I wasn't just piercing a non-vital organ. And as I sheath it, I run after Roman to get out of there.
In the few moments it took you to remove the blade, get the dirk out, you noticed Rahadin was watching you very carefully. He seemed to have noticed something on your expression or in your eyes. He smiled. His last words were, that'll do. That'll do for you, dog. And then, of course, you slit his throat and leave him to the dust and rubble as you run forwards. All three of you are running as fast as you can towards the drawbridge. It is swaying slightly. One of the chains has started to fall. Soon the other one will as well. The castle is collapsing behind you, coming down at an alarming rate now. What do you two do?
I run for my life. I do not wish it to end here.
Me as well. Together with Esmeralda, I'm just trying to get as far away from here as possible. We will live to see the end of this day. If we have come this far, Lathander will surely not allow us to fail now.
If I have to carry her out, not to let us move slower, then I'll do that.
To be honest, she's actually leading the way. The magic of Cure Wounds is very effective when applied rapidly in cases like this.
Good. Then it's apparently me lagging behind.
Indeed. Both of you roll me a strength athletics check or a dexterity acrobatics check.
Yes, and I shall do so with inspiration.
14.
21.
Roman, you run ahead as fast as you can. You are terrified. You are incensed. Funnily enough, everything up to this point has perhaps been bearable, but the pure terror of knowing a building is about to collapse on you has perhaps overwhelmed you a little. Still, you manage to scale the drawbridge, moving quickly across it. Esmeralda stumbles and falls back a little. You don't really have time to notice this, though. Rorschach, you do notice Esmeralda sort of stumble back a little, but you soon have bigger things to be worried about. A chain on your side comes loose ever so slightly and falls straight towards you. You manage to duck out of the way, but in doing so you find yourself about to veer off the edge of the drawbridge into the bottomless chasm below. What do you do?
I bring up my arms, seeing how blocks have started tumbling down into the darkness. I try to regain my balance, to throw myself at the side or whatever it takes to get me out of the way.
Roll me a strength athletics check.
15.
It's not enough to keep your balance. You suddenly fall. Not entirely, but just slipping. Half of you suddenly across the drawbridge. Rorschach, you are about to fall. And just as you feel the urge to try and grab hold of something, you find something. A hand. An arm. Esmeralda has you in her grasp. What do you do?
Help me. I try to grab hold and pull myself up with her help.
Roman, you notice Esmeralda started to try and pull Rorschach up. The whole bridge is starting to shake, tilt slightly in the direction that Rorschach is about to fall in. She seems to be struggling a little by herself, though. She's gripping him with both hands, but she's still injured. What do you do, Roman?
I make my way over there. I must save them. I am not going to leave this place by myself. No, we will leave together. So I move up and I try to help her to get Rorschach out of this situation so that we can leave together.
Roll me a strength athletics check.
8.
You move to assist Esmeralda, but you're not quite strong enough to grasp both of them. Suddenly, the pair of you are starting to slide down closer to the edge. Rorschach, you still have a good grip on Esmeralda, but you are now dangling in the air, literally just holding on. Both Roman and Esmeralda are now trying to hold on to you. What do you do?
I look around and try to find something else to hold on to. Is there any wall or something else that I could cling to?
You could try and do a bit of a sort of leaping maneuver with your hand, try and swing yourself, get one more hand back on the thing. It would be a lot easier if you dropped something.
And I'm letting go of my shield. Keep my both hands free.
You let go of your shield, seeing it vanish into the chasm below. This has made it easier, though, for you to attempt this strength athletics check. Roll with advantage.
26.
And you manage to grab on to the other side of the drawbridge. And this stables you just enough for everyone to kind of bring you up. And you sort of, for a moment, are back on the drawbridge. Safe. For now. Roman, you notice the other chain starting to crack. Behind you, you see the castle finally beginning to fully come down. In moments, you'll be surrounded by dust, smoke, and ash. What do you do?
Lathander, save us. And I just run.
Roman, you run for your life, just about managing to make it back onto the other side of the drawbridge. Esmeralda pulls you up, Rorschach, and together you struggle with each other and manage to get to the end yourself, just as the drawbridge finally tilts all the way to the left and falls into the chasm below. You are then, for a moment, overcome with dust, ash, and masonry coming from the collapsing castle, and you all just fall to the ground as the castle rumbles, and half of it literally falls into the chasm itself.
I lie down and I pant and I breathe and I look up and I look towards the castle and around me. What's happened to all the other vampires, the priests and all those?
You have absolutely no idea. Currently, it's hard to see anything. There's dust in the air, the amount of dust that would come from a large stone fortress completely falling in on itself.
And I just collapse on my back.
I try to get up on one knee and I clasp my hands together and I make a prayer to Lathander, thanking him for saving our lives and for allowing us to survive this impossible situation, that we are still alive. I can scarcely believe it, but we are alive. It is a testament to his power. And I pray.
There is silence for a time. Maybe a few sounds of crumbling, rocks falling. Hard to tell. After a while, the dust begins to settle. If you were to look at the direction of Castle Ravenloft, you would see rubble. Hard to tell, really. It seems most of the castle fell in on itself, its very foundations, and then pretty much fell off the large stone it was built on in the first place. Some of it's still there. The drawbridge is completely gone. You won't be able to get back there. Still, everything is quiet. And as the clouds above you churn ever so slightly, the storm long over now, a small sliver of light begins to shine through the clouds, signalling the dawn.
I blink. Slowly, I feel my strength fading and the adrenaline rush. I would probably fall asleep where I am from sheer exhaustion or pass out. After all the running, the final fight, the constant losing of blood and then getting healed back up again. The exhaustion is complete, is immense.
I look up to the light, and I weep. I cry. It's tears of, yes, relief. Relief. Relief that this is finally over. But we're still here, I then think to myself. We're still in this cursed land.
I prop up myself on my arms and I look over at Esmeralda.
She is slowly getting herself up. She looks winded. She's already getting some bandages out of her pouch and starting to wrap them round her chest. The magic of the healing has certainly saved her life. But some of those scars will not heal so quickly. At least not to such low-level healing magic anyway.
I'm sorry, I say to her. I'm sorry about your friend. He did a noble thing back there.
She sort of kneels, coughs a few times, looks around. He did not need to die here. Damn that curse. I suppose at least he'll be free of it now. Ugh. Oh well.
What's curse?
She tilts her head. You did not think he spurned all who tried to help him simply because he generally didn't wish to help anyone, did you?
I thought this was just his way of showing, I don't know, that he cared. It's not uncommon among the orcs to show such attitudes. I thought maybe it would be a trait among some men as well.
She shakes her head. Long ago he was cursed by the Vistani. There's a lot to the story I cannot tell you all now, nor would I wish to. Suffice to say, anyone Van Richten tried to help or care for in more than even a little manner would have terrible misfortune fall upon them. Always. It is what happened to all of our allies who helped us along the way. It's what even happened to me. And she taps her leg. It is why he abandoned me in the end.
He was trying to help you.
He was trying to help us all, you two included.
We are alive because of him, because of his sacrifice. He is with the gods now, resting, a well-deserved rest. We should celebrate that, celebrate his life and his
Do you intend to follow in his tracks?
Of course. She gets up to stand. I'm afraid, priest, there shall be no time for celebration. She looks up. This is good. It'll make it easier. But I am far from done here. There are many more fiends to slay. Perhaps I shall return to the tower and rest. And then the hunt begins again. I do not think all of them shall have survived. But many will have. And of course they shall now be far more powerful than they were before.
Alright. This land still needs someone, or maybe more, maybe a group, maybe a militia of sorts, to clean it out. Maybe there would be more worthy fighters here who could assemble in some way. It's practically lawless in between the cities anyway.
Certainly something to think about, but perhaps not right away. She winces and clutches her side. I am thankful for the healing, but I will need rest. That was close. Thank you, though, priest.
Do not thank me, thank Lathander. He is the one who has saved us all. And a rest sounds quite good about now. I have no idea how to get out of here. I do not believe that in my current state I would be able to find it either. Perhaps we can make it back to the tower together.
Perhaps. At this point, you notice someone coming towards you from the northern side of the road, where the stable area was. Someone is leading forward 2 horses. You recognize these horses. They're yours, after all.
Who is the person?
A young lady, currently not very well clothed, but wearing some basic rags. She waves a hand.
Is she still wearing the piece of cloth that I left with her?
Yes.
I lift a tired hand in response, and I look at my horse, feeling a sort of gratitude, and I walk over.
Hail, friends. It seems we have actually done it. I thought the least I could do was look after your horses. They ran here as soon as the castle started to fall down. Don't worry, I've calmed them and given them some food.
Thank you, Muriel. It's done. He's dead.
We're glad to see that you are still alive. Many of your brethren fell, yes?
Muriel looks a little pained at this and nods once. We lost a great deal. We always knew we would when we finally made a move. Still, it seems it was worth it. There will be much to do. We shall have to try and retake the vineyard, try and rebuild. Who knows, maybe try and get back into one of the settlements. There's a lot of chaos and confusion in the lands at the moment. We're gonna have to do things very slowly. We have lost many, but at least we have a chance now.
Yes, and that is all that we can really ever ask for, isn't it? A chance to bring back the light, to make this world better for us all.
She nods firmly and wipes a bit of blood from her cheek. She's not had much time, it seems, to clean her own wounds. She then begins to move away, remarking, I'm afraid I must go. I need to be quick. We need to make sure we are in safe places before the wolves come for us. I do not know how they will react now the master is dead, but they are still quite a threat. Never mind, we shall find a way of dealing with them. It is not your concern. For now, farewell to the both of you, and good luck whatever you do next.
A short look of despair enters my face, and I say, Well, where will we find you next?
I don't know. Maybe it's best we don't say. We need to be careful now, be secret. We're not exactly going to be popular with the people of the towns, after all. When we haven't got the vineyard anymore, the wild men, again. Maybe this will throw them into some disarray. I'm not entirely sure, but it's not your concern. You have done more than enough for us. This is now our problem.
I open my mouth as if to say something, but nothing comes, and I close it again.
She nods.
May the light of the Morning Lord be with you, sister. Good luck.
And with that, she instantly bends down, becoming smaller, covered in feathers, and a raven flies out from those rags and flies away into the distance.
I go up and with great care pick up the piece of cloth left behind, fold it and start packing it in my horse's saddlebags. Looking a bit melancholic.
Yes, I too get up on my horse and, Rorschach, what do we do now? Where can we go?
I don't know, brother. Maybe we could start with a night's sleep. If the old rickety house will shelter us, or at least for a few hours. My head is clouded.
Agreed. Let us find some form of shelter. Let us rest a bit.
Esmeralda motions towards the stables, the ruined stables you were using for the rest before. Perhaps we should all just take a little rest. I admit, going back all the way to the tower now is almost a day's journey. Maybe we should rest first. You can think of what you're going to do. After all, what do you want to do?
I give my horse an affectionate stroke on the side of its head, and I start leading it towards the stable, and I try to listen for that voice that I heard so many times, that has led me, but during the last few hours confused me greatly, make me wonder where it actually came from, what its purpose was. Was it all just a trick of Strahd? And I try to see if it's anything still there, trying to guide me anymore.
You hear nothing.
And it's painful in a way. I hope to sleep, and I hope to bring back the dreams. Something to push me once again. And I almost have a desperate feeling that would come. Desperate hope. Because that's what set me out on this path. Where do I turn without it?
The only sounds you hear are a few bits of communication coming from your sword, who is in a very good mood. Victory has been had, and the true enemy was vanquished, and vengeance, the vengeance against the Lich, which maybe confuses you a little, but it is very happy about that. It is a very good mood, and for them, that is the only thing you are hearing.
I think to myself, was that Kazan, the Lich?
You don't know, Rorschach. Other than Roman telling you to smash it, you just saw a weird shadow. It did look a little like him, but you didn't hear anything coming from the crystal before you destroyed it.
I'm thinking it must have something to do with Sergei and the blade. He brought the blade after all. Maybe it was someone who pulled the strings. Nonetheless, it gives me no comfort. The sword is its own being, and it has its own will, I can feel now. I don't know if that any more matters with what my own goals are.
You both make your way to the ruined stable, and Esmeralda sort of slumps. And I assume then you all try and get some rest.
Yes.
Yes.
Still hoping for the dreams.
And I pray to Lathander, hoping that somehow this will have made his voice grow louder in this land. Has it?
No, you'd pray just before moving to rest, Roman, and nothing feels different at all. In fact, everything feels the same. There is some light now. Some sun seems to be trying to peek through the clouds of this land, but it's a rather grey and dull light. You do not feel any closer to your god at all.
And I sigh with some measure of disappointment. I had hoped that it would be this easy, that surely if Lathander had put me on this mission, on this holy crusade, then vanquishing the foe would bring the light back, but I realize now that that was a foolish hope. Things are rarely that simple. But I have done a good deed. I have done something that will make life better here. Surely I have. Yes. I have removed the person who tortured these people, who played with them, who used them for his game. Yes, things are surely better now. Yes, Lathander will be pleased with me. Surely. And I fall into some form of sleep.
You both sleep for a long time, taking a full rest. Rorschach, your sleep is empty, dark. There are no dreams this time, no voices. Just you, in the dark. Roman, for a moment you see someone far ahead, a woman glowing ever so slightly in the morning light. What do you do?
Markovia. Markovia, is that you? I try to yell towards her.
She turns and smiles. She seems distant, though. My child. Well done. You didn't completely lose. Some of her words seem to get lost. You can't quite hear everything she's saying. It's almost a little bit piecemeal. Still. Good. Gone now. We couldn't before, you see. We didn't have the phylactery.
The phylactery. The phylactery. What is she referring to?
You're not quite sure.
The phylactery, the jewel we smashed, the casket of Strahd. What do you speak of?
She nods, although you're not quite sure what she's nodding to. Indeed. We had to seal some other way. I was never sure. I think he was sealed some other way. He spoke much of vengeance, a blood seal. I don't know how that could have been. I wonder how such a seal was broken. I wonder how our blood was broken.
I know not, but the deed is done now, and I hope you can find rest. I must find my way out of here. I must go back to Baragost, back to the graves of my family, back to the temple, to serve Lathander. That is my duty now. Can you bring me back?
She looks at you. She tilts her head and raises a hand, And then she begins to fade away. Not into darkness this time, just fade away. Roll me an intelligence check.
6.
Phylacteries. What is that she spoke of? A seal of blood. You wonder in the dream, why did this Kazan hate you so much? Child of Markovia, he kept calling you. And yet you don't feel the dream offers any answers, do you?
No, but there is some connection. There was some deep-seated hatred there against me, against our blood. How is it all connected? Is it connected to him? To what he did? Is it connected to my son? Is that possible?
When you think that, you do recall his crime, after all, was summoning something awful that killed many. But you never quite got details on what it was. After all, everyone involved was dead.
That is right. That is right. Did he summon that being, perhaps, or one like it? Was that it? That might explain a lot of things. It might explain why Lathander chose me for this mission. Chose me to purge this land. Yes. I truly hope that I have now paid for the crimes that my son committed. That he can find rest. Well-deserved rest with Lathander.
It's as you're thinking this that you awake with a sharp pain in the back of your head, although it's not an attack. It's merely you slumped against a bit of wood. You are awake, though, and you have rested a full rest, both of you. The day is bright, at least compared to what you've got so used to. To anyone else, this would be a rather grey, miserable day, but it is day, the middle of the day. Esmeralda is already up, and you two are awake. What do you do?
Lathander smiles upon us, brother. Do you see the light? The glorious light? Yes. It is not all the way there, but it is more than before. We did this. Rorschach.
The land is changing. The lord of the land is no more. It will be up to each one who lives here to find their own lives without him now.
Yes.
I sit up and I look a bit empty, a bit confused.
Have you decided what you will do, brother? Will you come with me back to Baragost? Or will you remain here? I got a feeling looking at you that, well, perhaps you're seeking some form of purpose. And perhaps this land might offer just that. Better than being a bandit, certainly.
I give a long sigh and I shrug. Your eyes see much, priest. There's no denying that. I'm not sure. I feel like I need purpose now. I need someone to follow. I'm not made to lead, and I think I might come to accept that. I would like to finish my book, and I look at Esmeralda. Maybe I can help you.
Esmeralda nods and looks you over for a moment. She does frown a little, though. I'm afraid my path will have no book writing. As soon as I am well again, the hunt will begin. I'll be travelling far, in these lands at first, to hunt down any remaining foes of the night. We will be under assault constantly, and I don't think we're going to get much help from the people here, at least for a while. However, It's possible that from some of the other lands people will come soon. The borders around Barovia will be weak now. Some of the other lands will probably take an interest. Who knows if that'll be a good thing or a bad thing. Either way, I wouldn't exactly say no to some help, but I wonder if that's the sort of thing you wish to do. There will be no glory, Rorschach. No celebrations, just a constant hunt for the dead.
Well, I suppose it's a start. It's either that or turn to the were-ravens. They are a good sort, they. Like, maybe they would... life with them, or I don't know, a life, but time with them would provide me more satisfaction fighting the bandits and whatever they might need help with. I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all anymore. There's nothing for me to come back to in the other world. All the dreams, I had visions of my family and my mother and my father. They were just illusions of something past. There's nothing for me in the clan. Nothing.
Well, I guess if you wish to follow me, you can. But what about you, priest? It sounds you wish to return to your lands.
Yes, I shall go back to Faerun, back to Baragost. I do not know how, but you mentioned that the gates are weakened. Perhaps the mists are as well. Perhaps it is now possible to travel through them. That or finding someone who could guide me through them. Maybe one of the Vistani, maybe Madam Eva. I know not, but I believe that Lathander will show the way. He always does.
Well, if you're looking for Vistani, she then points to the distance, you might be in luck. Look. And you see very far away in the valley, past Barovia, which now in the day is actually very visible, the gates of the lands of Barovia open, and it's quite hard to tell from this distance, but you're pretty sure you can see quite a number of caravans starting to make their way to those gates. Again, you're very, very far away, which makes you think there must be an awful lot of caravans.
They are leaving here. Perhaps the Count's fate has made them want to leave this place for a time that might be safe given their allegiance to him. Well, that may offer a chance to return then. Return together with them. I shall make my way over there, Rorschach. That is my chance to go back.
Well, then I would see you off, priest. It's been an interesting journey. You are a peculiar sort.
Yes, brother. And I move up and I, again, just like when you had fallen and come back, I give you a way too friendly hug. And then I tap you on the back, just to show that, yes, there's nothing weird about this hug. And I turn around. Goodbye. Goodbye, Rorschach. Good luck in your journey. May the Morning Lord, may Lathander smile upon you forever.
Farewell, Roman.
It's at this point Esmeralda laughs a little, steps forward and remarks, saying goodbye a little too soon, aren't we? He did just say we were going to ride down with you. It's gonna take you at least 5 hours to get there. From here.
Well, I thought maybe he wanted to ride 2, yards before us, not talk to us the rest of the way.
Yes, something along those lines, I say, and I laugh.
And I imagine you with an axe in your head while you're laughing, and I laugh too.
Esmeralda laughs a little as well, and moves on to her horse and gets ready to ride. And you are, it seems, pleased, Roman. so pleased perhaps that maybe you don't really pay attention to something about Rorschach that seems a little off. But then, maybe it's just the light. Maybe his eyes always were completely and utterly red. But you've not seen him in the light again. Maybe they were always that colour, yes?
Must be. Must be. I do not know much about orcs, nor half-orcs for that matter. That is probably just the way things are. I'm thankful to him.
So, what do you two do?
Well, I intend to see him off. Get him out of these lands. And then see to my own fate after that.
Would it be safe to say that you ride straight to the gates then? If you do that, you'll very briefly pass either through Barovia, or you can go around it if you wish. And then in about 5-6 hours, evening will be starting to fall as you arrive back at the gates in which you came.
Yeah, I don't mind going through Barovia, telling them of our deeds as we go through, ushering anyone to make their own fate, and then head for the gates to see Roman off.
Very well. All three of you begin to ride down to the valley as the day draws on. The woods are quiet now. Not exactly peaceful. More subdued. You go back down the bridge passing below the Great Fall, and then down from there, making swift progress past where the encampment was, although you very quickly notice it is no longer there. And finally, after a few more hours, you ride through the village of Barovia. There are no people awaiting you, no cheers, no celebration. The doors are still hauled up. The place seems even emptier than it was when you came, although perhaps now at least slightly better lit. Although evening is starting to fall, so maybe it doesn't look that different. There are a few people watching you from the houses, with fear, with confusion. Do you just ride straight through the village?
If I see someone, I bellow out, "The devil is dead, slayed by our hands. It's now time for you to make what you will with your own lives. The old burgomaster has passed as well, unfortunately, but you are free, finally, from that darkness and from that rule." And I nod to myself.
Well said, Rorschach. Well said. Yes, and I hold up the holy symbol of Lathander, and I yell out, "You are all blessed by the morning Lord."
There is no response. No one comes out to challenge or greet you. And you ride through the town. Esmeralda sighs as she looks at both of you, remarking, "You are going to need to give them more time than that. Not to mention, well, they're not exactly as free as you seem to think they are, but it doesn't matter. Come, let's ride." And you ride out of the town, and already now can see much better. An encampment just ahead has been set up, just before the gates. There's quite a few wagons around it, although not as many as you saw earlier. It seems they've been coming and going throughout the day. But there is a campfire, and you do, as you ride up towards it, see a familiar person sitting, almost as if she was waiting for you. What do you do?
I move up. It is Madam Eva?
Indeed.
We have fulfilled your prophecy, if you will. The deed has been done. According to your instructions, I suppose we could say.
Ah, is that what you think? I suppose a few deeds have been done. I suppose some prophecies have been fulfilled. But many have not. Who knows?
We never know anything for certain. But we know that we have done something. We have changed this land, and I believe for the better, although it is not well, no victory is ever without casualties. And there are things that I regret, but we have freed it. We have freed this land of its unjust ruler, of its torturer, of the man who played the games with the people here. And now, I wish to leave. Is that something you could help me with, Madam Eva?
Why are you looking at me, priest? All you have to do is go that way. Easy, no? Although, forgive me if I laugh a little, saved the land. Of course you have. Of course you've both saved the land. For what? A few months? Maybe a year or two. Well done. She gives a little mocking clap.
Oh, what's that supposed to mean? Would you have us do something else now?
I would have you do nothing. You have done as you were expected to do, mostly. Well, except you, Rorschach. Sadly, in the end, you were a disappointment. Never mind. Maybe next time, eh?
What do you mean next time? We killed the devil, didn't we? It's not like the castle is gonna come back to life and rebuild itself.
Of course it isn't, because everything works out so easily. You slew the devil, the land is now free, everyone is happy, even the soulless. You don't really believe that, do you, Rorschach? You have some brain, I thought.
Well, I believe this is the chance for this land to, I don't know, become more free. More free. I mean, I suppose no one is really free, but at least there's no undefeatable power ruling over them. It's just themselves now.
Isn't there, Rorschach? Isn't there? It's nice that you think so. And yes, I suppose the people for a few months will be happier. Some of them anyway. The soulless will not know happiness. They can never know happiness, but maybe some of the ones with souls will feel a little better. Some of them might even leave. And other people from other lands nearby will come. Maybe the werewolves, or the wolf-wares, maybe people from Darkon, from Blutspur, from Karkatas, however you say that name of the place, I can never say it correctly. And yes, for a few months, my children, things for these people might be slightly easier. And then he will return, and his wrath will be immense, and everyone here will know misery and pain once more, and I wonder if they think you'll return to save them again. I don't think you will, but who knows?
Do you mean that the same devil will come back again, somehow?
Of course.
Did we not kill him?
You destroyed him, in a fashion. Do you think the dark powers care if a being is alive or dead?
Do you mean that something else is rebuilding him, that something else is the real master of the land?
Of course. And they are not done with him. They will never be done with him. Well, they could have been done with him, but as we said, the boat has sailed. You failed, Rorschach. Never mind, though. I only hope you are not treated too badly by your new masters.
And I stand there and I just glare at her for a while. And then I look up to Roman and I say, maybe we're done here after all.
Perhaps. It is up to you, brother. I believe that I have fulfilled my part of this journey. I am not a man who can continue fighting the same battle over and over again for the rest of my life. It is not what I wish for. I cannot defeat a god, nor can I defeat several of them if they wish to bring him back. No, I am content simply to leave here. Yes.
Very well.
A laugh at this comes from Madam Eva. Yes, indeed. Brave Sir Roman. You were not quite as important as Rorschach. You did as you were expected. You've saved some people for your god, who doesn't care about you or these people. Wrap up warm, though, yes? You might catch a chill where you're going.
What do you mean by that? Where am I going? Faerun would not be so cold this time of year, would it?
It depends on where you're going, Faerun. It is a very large place. But I am too tired to do fortune readings tonight. Just, it might be a useful tip. For now, though, unless there are any final things from you both, I shall be retiring and we shall be leaving. Naturally, these lands are no longer welcoming to my people. Very easy to turn blame on those who are present when those who you blamed beforehand are no longer there, isn't it?
I suppose so. Will you be coming back when he returns?
Of course I will.
As I expected. Well, shall we?
I look at Roman and I nod. And I urge my horse to start moving again.
And I look towards Esmeralda. So is this where we say goodbye? I say and smile. Goodbye for real this time?
She looks a little concerned as Rorschach starts to ride off. I suppose it is. I did think he was going to stay. I don't know why this information would change his mind. I mean, to be honest with you, I expected it. I thought he would return. He always will, I imagine. All we can do is keep fighting. For now, I would at least steel myself that if I could even kill half his brood, that would be enough. Although it would have been nice if you'd killed some yourself. Just saying.
Of course, I'm going to stay. There's no doubt about it. I was just going to say my friend off, seeing as his parts in these lands seem to be fulfilled.
Oh, I see. Oh, very well then. I shall wait a moment. I don't think we have anything to fear from, well, my fellow Vistani. Yes, I thought they would be leaving too. The people of the land will not understand that we are not all the same, and I imagine they will be angry. So, it's wise they leave, I suppose.
Yes. Well, you are a bigger person than I am. And you too, Rorschach. Keep fighting the good fight. I pray that you will win.
Live well, Roman. Whatever you've done in your past, you've redeemed yourself. You've brought back the light, just as you hoped.
I pray that is true.
And I think you've wrestled down some of your own demons along the way.
Yes. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Now, the only one who can judge me is Lathander. Yes. Goodbye, friend.
I nod. Farewell, then.
And I ride off towards the gates, towards Faerun, perhaps Beregost, perhaps somewhere colder. I care not, as long as it's not here. As long as it's not here.
And so you ride off, looking back maybe one last time at Rorschach, who stays near Esmeralda, sort of seated near this little encampment, and you ride straight for the gates, now open. And after a few minutes of beginning to enter what seems to be the mists, although they seem much lighter now, you do just notice something out of the corner of your eye. Your son, standing on the road. You hear his voice in your mind remark, "Offering you one last chance, Father. They don't think you'll accept it, but they want to offer. You could have me back. You could save me. What do you say?"
I cannot save you. I cannot. It is not within my power nor within Lathander's. Whatever would be brought back by the gods of this place would not be my son. My son is dead, and I'm at peace with that. I will visit his grave. Rest now. And I ride off.
And you ride off, and you just hear your son remark, "I knew you'd say that, father. I'll always hate you." And then screams. Hideous, gut-wrenching screams. Do you ride on?
If I can, I do. Yes. Yes, this is not my son. It never was my son. I do not choose to believe that. It's easier that way. Yes, much easier.
And then you hear a little cackle in your ear, and a remark, "So bold, Roman, so bold, so bold. You can go now. But no, we have our fun. You will look." And suddenly, dragged in front of you as you ride forwards faster and faster, your son is dragged before you, and you see the torment on his features. You see the misery in his expression as hooks of flesh and metal tear him limb from limb, peeling his skin from his bone and then peeling his organs from his skeleton. The anger and anguish is visceral and intense, and he's being dragged in front of you by unseen hands as you keep riding forwards into the mist. And in this moment, a little part of you, you're not quite sure why, knows this is your son, and he is doomed for all eternity. What do?
Yes, it is. But I do not have the courage to save him. I never did. That is why I didn't in the first place. That is why I didn't sacrifice myself for revenge. It was not Lathander that stopped me. I stopped myself. And I tried to endure the unendurable, the unbearable. And I continue riding as far as I can.
His body is dragged before you until finally there is nothing left. And you keep riding forwards. And the laughter rings out. And you just hear a final cacophony of voices remarking, "Farewell, Dawnbringer Roman, farewell, farewell. Enjoy the rewards." Or should we say, lack of. Farewell. And the mists begin to part, and you find yourself riding on a road near the Cloakwood in the middle of the night. It is foggy about, but you know this road well.
I am back. I am back. I look around and I have never felt so much love for the Cloakwood as I feel right now. As I start to make my way back to Baragost, back to the temple, the song of the morning temple, back to my life.
Rorschach, you watch for a while as Roman, the priest, rides off past the gates. Eventually he vanishes from your view. Esmeralda is sitting, taking in the hospitality of the caravan they are passing around. A few glasses of wine. The mood of these Vistani isn't quite as it was before, though. They seem in a somber mood, not hostile, but just keen to be moving. The chatter around the caravan seems to suggest that they'll soon be doing it. Madam Eva hasn't quite left yet, but she's already dusting herself off and getting ready to go. What do?
I watch after Roman, still on my horse. It feels like an empty victory now. What Madam Eva said, that I had failed, whereas I thought everything else pointed at the opposite, weighs me down a bit. But it's still a victory, and seeing Esmeralda making yourself comfortable, I figure, yes, I deserve that as well. I deserve some wine, and then we shall see where we go next. I get off my horse and I sit down next to her, and I say, we are different people, we have different values. I know you have not approved of everything that we've done here, all the choices that we made, and there's been some pretty bad consequences for some, and better for others. But I still believe we could find some purpose doing whatever it is you do together. At least for a while. You saved my life. You did.
I haven't approved of everything you've done, it's true, but in the end you did what needed to be done, no matter the cost. I can respect that. And well, you saved my life as well. One good deed deserves another.
I nod, and I have a sip of wine. Makes me relaxed a little bit.
Esmeralda has a sip herself and then puts down the bottle and makes to stand. We can rest for a few minutes and then perhaps it'd be better if we find our own camp. Then we will return to the tower and plan our next moves. It'll be very slow going for a while, I think. I'll need to get a better lay of the land. The wolves will still be on the prowl, I imagine, but perhaps they won't be quite as organized. And well, who knows what else still remains in these lands, but hopefully we'll be able to start tracking down some of the fiends. I do not think they will have gone very far, and the daylight would have hindered them, but you never know with vampires. They will be very tricky to deal with. Each one that has survived will now be a full vampire, of course. And of course, some may already have got past the borders into other lands. Maybe it'll be good to return to Darkon for a while. We shall see.
I nod, I have a last sip, and I put down the bottle as well. And I go to stand up and I ask, what was this she was talking about, the soulless? What's the soulless?
You haven't noticed?
Do you mean the people?
Yes.
Huh. I noticed it was at its most clear when we returned from the vineyard, having celebrated a victory there. We were being welcomed back as heroes in Wallachia once, when we returned with the wine. But it's just empty smiles, isn't it? There's nothing there. There's no one home.
I do not know much myself. It'd be better if you asked one of the people who live here, these Vistani. But from what I have understood, from what Van Richten told me, much like in many parts of the Dread Realms, things are not always as they seem. Many of the people of this land are not, well, perhaps it's not fair to say they aren't real, but they have no souls. They are creations of the land itself. And even though we have done what we have done, it will bring them no joy, for this is their land, and without this land they would not even exist.
And so this land is cursed to repeat and repeat. What's happening here?
It is similar to many of the Dread Plains. I am afraid none of us know all the details, but I would imagine so. I would imagine he will be brought back. I thought such a thing could happen. And have to be defeated again. Maybe by you or me, maybe by someone else, who knows, maybe never. It's best not to think about these sort of things. We should focus on what we can do. For the people we can. Not everyone is soulless.
That's right. Yeah. You're right. That's the way I like to think myself. Let's keep it practical and one thing at a time, eh? Who cares about what comes after?
we will do and defeat those things that we know for sure are evil. It makes things easier, doesn't it?
Esmeralda nods and gives you a smile. She still seems weary, perhaps not as happy as she's putting on, but you're not very good at reading people, so you probably haven't even noticed.
Probably haven't, but I would understand. Still mourning the loss of a good friend and mentor. But I say nothing about that, and I try to focus on what's next. I get up on the horse, and I suppose we start making our way towards the tower.
Indeed. Esmeralda gets on hers and starts doing a few checks before riding off. Just before you ride to follow, you notice Madam Eva standing very close to you, waiting for you to depart. Do you simply ride off?
I look at her, and I say, well, maybe I shall see you again then, when you choose to return.
She smiles. Oh, no, Rorschach. I would be very, very surprised indeed if we ever meet again.
Huh. At this, I shrug. I look the other way, and I grab my saddle, ready to swing myself up.
And as you get ready to leave, she simply remarks, I'll give you one little thing, though. I am not entirely without pity. Don't worry about her. She'll be fine.
I just look at her, and I grunt, and I ride off.
And you ride off, following Esmeralda into the night. She rides a little ahead of you, but obviously is trying to not outpace you too much. You notice the wind start to pick up a little, and fog is starting to close in. What do?
I try to keep up with her, and I say, this looks like bad weather is coming.
She doesn't respond. She doesn't respond because you haven't caught up with her at all, Rorschach. She's actually outpacing you quite significantly now, riding faster and faster down the road. The fog is coming in thick, starting to surround everything other than you and the road, and the fires from the encampment slowly getting further and further behind you.
I get unsettled at this, and I try to shout, Esmeralda, I won't be able to see you through the... And I try to pick up my pace even more.
And you pick up your pace and ride your horse hard. But Esmeralda is gone. The road is gone. You are simply riding forwards in the fog.
I don't want to risk my horse getting injured, so I reel him in and I slow down my tempo a bit. And I curse to myself. What now? It's just... Something tells me this is more than bad weather.
You hear laughter around you, discordant, like a chorus of voices. A chuckle comes in your ear. Now, Rorschach. You didn't think he was just going, did you? He thought he was just going. He thought he was free.
I draw my sword and to try to shine light in the fog.
And you shine light radiant out into the fog. It does nothing other than illuminate yourself and your horse. The fog is void, infinite. You're not entirely even sure you're standing on anything anymore.
I lose track of the road or anything. I feel panic rising up, and I try to carefully dismount to get off my horse.
And you do. And as soon as you do that, your horse is gone as well.
I swing about. Puffy?
and I cursed to myself. What do you want? Who's there?
Who's there? Who's there? Who is there? Oh, there are so many of us, Rorschach. So many indeed. What do we want? Let's play a game. What do you think we want?
Are you the lost souls of this land?
Aha! Is the response to that.
Well, are you the ones that seek to bring back the Count again?
Who is the Count? What is the Count? Who cares about a count? Count to 1, count to 3. Oh, Rorschach. How about we give you a little hint? You have a mirror. Look in it.
I'd forgotten about the mirror. The mirror that I still have in my pack. Is it still there? I take it out.
You do. And once again you look into it. You recall what happens. It shows an old, weathered half-orc. Except there's one difference. Whilst before you simply looked like an old version of yourself, now you have eyes, bright red. You can't even see your pupils. And from within, black tendrils come from your eyes, covering your whole face. You look like a corpse in this mirror.
I quickly take a hand to feel my face and my eyes.
Your face feels normal. You don't have any of these things. In the mirror they look so obvious. But you do kind of feel your eyes and they feel normal, but obviously the mirror is the only way of seeing your own eyes.
This is not real. This is not this is not me. This is someone else. What do you want with this? What's this supposed to mean?
Well, let's think about it, Rorschach. When you said, yes, help me, we helped you. And now we're going to get something in return. Again, laughter fills the void around you.
That's fair, I suppose. What do you want in return?
Oh, you'll see. You shall see. We shall all see. You see, we like to be entertained. We like to be amused. We like to see you suffer. And all these things will happen, Rorschach. And I wonder if this time you'll still hesitate. After all, don't hesitate, Rorschach. But he did. He did hesitate. Will you next time? Maybe you need something better. Maybe a blade. Maybe an axe. Maybe a mace. What will it be, Rorschach? What will it be?
I stagger and I hesitate and I am unsure what to do. I stand there with the mirror in one hand and the sword lighting up the void in the other, and I feel completely alone.
And at that thought you hear a voice go, As you should. As you should. But worry not, Rorschach. You have amused us enough. It's like Strahd said. It could be of anyone. If it could have been anyone. Perhaps it could have been you. Or not. Who could ever know? And at this point you feel a rush of wind and fog and rain, and you are flung from whatever you've been standing on into a maelstrom, a storm. Up is down, down is up.
I try to hold on to whatever I have in my hands.
And you do, but darkness eventually consumes you. Roman, the first thing that struck you as soon as you returned home was of course immense relief, joy even, followed by a great emptiness. It felt odd at first, and then it hit you hard. Lathander is no longer far away from you. Lathander is absent completely. He is gone. as far as you are concerned. How did you react to this?
That is not possible. We are in Faerun now. He is strong here. He's supposed to be one of the principal gods of this realm. Where am I? I am not in Faerun, am I? Of course. It could not be that easy. Could not be that easy. I, try to continue riding, trying to make my way back to the temple if it exists. I am panicked, of course, because I must be in great danger if he is so far away. This is the first time that I have ever been this lonely.
And you ride to the Song of the Morning Temple, panicked, afraid, alone. And yet as you start getting close to the temple, you do feel something. The temple feels correct. As you ride closer and closer, you feel you are riding to a temple of Lathander. But there's something wrong. You are still not with him. He's here, but not with you.
He has abandoned me. He has forsaken me. I must ask for his forgiveness. Yes, I must go inside. I dismount my horse and I try to make my way inside the temple, try to make it to the grand altar. I must speak with him. I must explain myself.
And at first you are met with some confusion, followed by many of your brothers coming forth. You hear them muttering joy, surprise. Roman, where have you been? Roman, it's been months. He is still alive. Quick, call the head abbot. What do? You were just heading straight to the great altar?
I try to, yes, give the right appearance. I smile to them and I say, yes, brothers, Bram, I'm so happy to be back. I will tell you all about what happened to me. I have been through a very long journey. It's been a journey that I think has brought me closer to Lathander. Yes, but I have no time to speak of it now. I must go and I must pray. I must go to the grand altar.
They are all very accommodating. They are all clearly relieved to see you alive. At least one or two are running to get their head abbot. And just as you get to the altar, you might just be able to see him entering from one of the chambers, and you might just catch his glance. And he looks at you, and looks disappointed. But what do? You are at the altar to Lathander. You can feel him here, more present now than he has ever been. This is his temple, and he is here.
Yes, I give a brief look to Keldath Ormlir, to the high priest, and I then move my focus back to the altar. I cannot explain what I have been through to Keldath, not before I have spoken to Lathander, not before I have filled this void in my life. And I fall into prayer and I try to reach out to Lathander. I must speak directly to him now.
And everything goes still, as is often the way when communing with one's god. And you feel the brilliance and light of Lathander looking over you, communing with you, and you feel his gaze, and you feel his judgment, and you feel his disappointment. What do you say?
Lathander, Lord, you chose me for this task. I believe that you did. I have tried to fulfill this holy crusade as best as I could, as best as any man could, to vanquish evil and bring back the light for the good of the people of that realm, and for your glory. They had all but forgotten about you, only faint memories of the morning, Lord. I have brought back your holy name there. They again speak of Lathander. And we felled the Count. We killed the devil. For a time, at least. I did as any imperfect servant of yours could. I did my best. And I pray that you will be kind in your judgment of my actions. I am not perfect. I've never claimed to be. I only wish to serve you, and to get your trust back, and to feel your love again. Tell me, Lord, what can I do to again earn my place here amongst your servants?
And you feel his booming voice echo in your very being. You have done good. You have spread light where there was none. But you have also forgotten much. You have forgotten what I stand for. The road to repentance is long, priest, and must start with acceptance. Tell me why I have left you. Tell me why I am disappointed.
I sacrificed much in the fight against the darkness. I let perhaps some of the darkness seep into me. I could not help it. But I tried. I truly tried to only punish the wicked.
You are cut off as you speak. You feel yourself being thrown about in a space. You're not quite sure what the space is. And there is anger in the voice of your god. You make excuses. You justify what cannot be justified, priest. And you start seeing images. You see an image of you standing before a supposed abbot of an abbey. You wanted something. He was not willing to give it. He would not listen to your reason. Your reason that you spent a whole 5 minutes giving. You were drawing your weapon as you got ready to battle a planar being. Did you try and understand? Did you try and help? No. Your mace was ready. You see a town. You are running from it in the night. People, a church. You see a priest there. You didn't see this before, Roman, but in his eyes there was such fear, such longing. He was your brother. And you left the place to burn. You left the place to be taken by the very darkness you say you fought against. You see a woman being offered help. You see yourself swearing, no matter what, you would save her. And then you see yourself in a castle, looking down one path where she dwelt, and another path, and you say to someone by your side, "There's nothing we can do. We must move on." How do you respond?
You are correct. I have sinned and I have failed. And I must make repentance for my sins. I must come back to the true path, and I am prepared to do what you ask, Lord. Anything to get back into your good graces, to again serve you. Yes, I am a sinner, but I tried.
The voice is less booming, and you stop being shaken about. Do you accept, Roman? Your greatest sin was hubris, pride. You say, I chose you. I chose you for nothing of the sort. I chose you to spread my light and protect the innocent. Instead, you let the innocent die and shone my light for your own survival, for your own ideal. Do you see now this is true?
I see it. I am but a man, after all. Imperfect and flawed, weak, and filled with cowardice. But I am also filled with love for you. And I will do what is required next. So tell me, Lord, What will you have me do?
You will repent, Dawnbringer Roman. You will repent and ready yourself for the path ahead. It will be long, it will be hard, but I will forgive, if you earn it.
And I begin to weep, feeling hope in this terrifying situation. Hope to one day be forgiven. Yes, that is all I need.
You wrap your cloak around you. The air is cold, the wind fierce. It is snowing. Still, none of this is unusual at the spine of the world. You look to your map, Roman. Soon you will be within the lands of Icewind Dale. Soon you will be at the village. This entire journey has been hard on you, of course. You have had no guiding light, no wound-mending magics, only your mace and the pack on your back. How are you feeling on this cold evening in the mountains?
She was right. Madam Eva was right. This is where I was heading all along. It's been a hard journey, and the hardest is probably still waiting. But I will earn my way back. I will get back into my God's good graces. I will do what it takes.
It's a small village you're heading to. There are rumors of fell forces there, beset by creatures from the mountains, troubles within. The Temple of Lathander needs help, and that is of course your mission. With no actual clerical power, but simply with your mace. You will go to this temple, you will protect the people of this village, and you will do so even if it costs you your life. After all, you've had time to think, and as well as the hubris Lathander has informed you, that was your second greatest sin. So many times, it should have been your life that was given. Instead, others gave their lives. What are you thinking of your new purpose?
It is as my God wills it. I have accepted that I am his servant. I did so in the Dread Realms. That is where I accepted it. And I have accepted who I am. I have accepted my weakness. I did that when I watched my son being torn to pieces. I will serve. There's a satisfaction in that simple purpose, in knowing what you're supposed to do with your life, whatever remains of it. I will fulfill my part in this play.
You certainly will, Dawnbringer Roman. I suppose the final question is, do you still drink every night you see your son being torn limb from limb? It's just a memory now. He's not here. But it's still there all the same every night.
I no longer wish to cut myself off from Lathander. I no longer wish to hide from him. I think that's what I was trying to do before. No, I do not drink. I spend every waking minute trying to get back to his good graces. Yes, I will forget nothing, and I will suffer every minute. That is my task now.
The road is ahead, Dawnbringer Roman. What do you do?
One step forward, and another, and then another.
And the wind and hail come about you. But this is something you will soon grow used to. Rorschach, you don't know how long it's been. Days? Hours? It can't have been weeks, surely. You haven't eaten for quite some time. The land you find yourself in is not hospitable. It is filled with bogs and smoke, sleet like rain, and of course the dead. You've not had that much trouble with them. A simple, shambling corpse is nothing for your sword, your might. But there's always so many, and they just keep coming. What are you doing in this situation?
So I've been here in this land. I need to eat. I need to find some sign of civilization, or at least something. I try to focus, try to find a path somewhere that will lead me. Maybe I could hunt something.
There's not been much in these lands that even looks alive. But you do notice, going down a little path, near one of these bogs is a tree. There's some fungus growing out of it. As you come over to it, it doesn't portray any of the signs of poison that you are familiar with. This might be edible.
I go up to it and I look around for sounds.
You hear them far off. They're always far off, but they move very slowly, so you normally don't need to worry too much. You're maybe safe for the hour at least.
And I kneel down then, and I pick up one of these mushrooms and I smell it, try to make out if it's edible or not.
It doesn't smell poisonous, and it doesn't look poisonous, so hopefully it's not. But you might be taking a bit of a risk. It's not a mushroom you've seen before.
Huh. What does it look like?
If you had to say, it looks like just some very standard fungus. It hasn't got any coloration or anything.
I take a little bite.
Doesn't taste especially nice, but it's not extremely bitter or any of the other signs that normally something is poisonous. It just doesn't taste very nice.
Will I be able to make a fire to cook it, or
The wood is damp around here. You haven't had a proper fire for a while. In fact, it's pretty dark all the time. There hasn't been any day, as far as you're concerned. Good thing your dark vision is so good.
I feel the rumbling of my stomach, and I eat a bit more, and then I start picking them, and I try to fill my bag with as many as I can get.
It's not pleasant to eat, but again, you pack and 5-10 minutes pass and you're not showing any signs of anything other than maybe being a little less hungry, so perhaps this fungus is something, if not a great meal.
Good. Then I can eat them as I continue on the way here.
You see sitting nearby, on a log, a baby. It's playing with something.
A human baby?
No, a half-orc baby.
I look up and, in surprise, how did that one get there? And I go up towards it.
He's playing with something. You're not quite sure what. You come closer, and again you're not quite sure which thing he's playing with. Is it the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck? Or is it the necklace wrapped around his neck? Well, not quite wrapped around, at least that he's just wearing, playing with. That necklace, of course.
I go up to him, and I say, "What's that you have there?"
He smiles and shows you the necklace. He's blue from asphyxiation. Of course, strangled by that umbilical cord currently around his neck. He giggles a little and shows you the necklace.
I feel like my mind is slipping. I accept somehow this sight of the half-orc, strangled half-orc baby that I have seen before when travelling through these lands, if it is the same land. I'm not sure anymore. I take up the necklace.
It tries to resist. It clutches onto the necklace tight, starting to cry as you try and take the necklace from it.
I say, fine, now let it go.
It quiets down. You hear a familiar voice behind you say, "That's right, Rorschach. Let him have the necklace. It was never yours after all."
Basarab. I turn around.
There's the ogre, that axe wonderfully wedged into his head, his skin rotting, his eyes long pecked out by crows.
Where do we go now, Basarab?
He shrugs. "I don't know, Rorschach. I'm dead."
Yeah. A bliss, isn't it?
In some ways. Not so much here. I was actually enjoying it until you brought me here. You brought so many of us here, Rorschach. A lot of us aren't happy about that. I don't mind though, I suppose.
I feel like my mind is bending. It's like, is this the reality I'm supposed to be accepting now? Is this my life from now on, surrounded by visions that are somehow just tied to me? I look him up and down, tired, hungry. I didn't mean to bring you here, Basarab. You got what you deserved. Do you want to come along with me?
Of course I will, Rorschach. We're always going to be here. Indeed we shall. And the elf is next to you, bleeding, of course, from his cut throat. He smiles.
And you bound here still as well?
I suppose that depends, doesn't it, half-breed? Am I really here? Or am I simply in your mind? Maybe you carry us all with you, like I did.
The voices. Were you carrying the voices around you? Was that the people that had died around you?
It was the people I had killed. Silly half-orc. I'd killed so many. Happily, I should add. It now seems you have something similar, perhaps. Or maybe not. He's right, Rorschach. Maybe you're just going mad. Maybe you should just put an axe in your head.
I rub my forehead. What do I do then? Elf? How do I stop this? How do I stop myself from going mad?
All three of them speak in a strange unison. Simple, Rorschach. Keep going. We're not done with you. We're going to have so much fun. Keep going. Don't hesitate. Find the blade.
And I turn and I start going.
And the baby claps as it clutches the necklace. Strange. What do you think about that child? He seems to stand out the most of these other figures.
Yeah. He's, I don't know what to think about him. As he claps, I turn to him. What the hells are you? I didn't kill no baby with an umbilical cord.
And for the first time, you hear a voice come from the baby. It's the voice of your father. He simply says, "Didn't you, son? Are you sure about that?"
Who? What? What are you supposed to be? I'm no baby killer. I kill with honor, with strength.
The baby just laughs, and all the figures vanish into the mist. And again you're alone, in an endless bog, stretching for miles it seems. There's a storm coming from the west. What do you do?
I start moving towards the storm.
And you hear one more voice. Perhaps the most familiar of all. After all, it was in your head so many times. Your mother. Onwards, my son. Maybe next time you won't be such a disappointment. On you go. Remember, you just need to find a way. You belong to them now, of course. And you always will, until they let you go. Maybe death would have been better, my son.
And my head hurts. My body hurts. But yes, there's some sort of comfort in that. Maybe next time I won't be such a disappointment. And I keep moving.
And you move to the incoming storm. Seeing for a moment perhaps something in the far west. A light. A fire. Hard to tell as the storm comes on hard and heavy. And you are left in the rain and the muck, with the sounds of the dead slowly crawling towards you. What do you do, Rorschach?
Seeing this light, I try to start making my way towards it.
And as you do, you can maybe just catch the glimpse of several more lights. A settlement, maybe. Very far away. Many days' travel.
Then that's where I suppose I'll have to try and go.
You will survive, you feel. In some form or other. And the rain falls hard, and the dead get closer as you make your way to the one light in the darkness.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played the final episode of the campaign Curse of Strahd for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Please like our Facebook page and give us feedback, comments and input there. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this campaign, on our previous material, and as for what you'd like to hear us play next. If you'd like to hear us discuss your comments and thoughts, why not consider becoming a Patreon and join our Q&A Ask for the Moon. We also have 2 ongoing Patreon exclusive campaigns. Taroticum for Cult Divinity Lost, as well as Emissary Lost for Coriolis. In this one, we also have our guest GM Adam Palmqvist and guest player Jenny Brienberg. Curse of Strahd was designed by Christopher Perkins and based on the adventure Ravenloft, written by Tracy and Laura Hickman in 1983. Dungeons & Dragons is published by Wizards of the Coast. The music is created by Metatron Omega, Flowers for Body Snatchers and Word Clock, and is used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Visit cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for more sweet, dark ambient. A huge thank you to all our supporters. Thank you for listening, thanks for your love, and looking forward to meeting again next week.
The land has changed. Such is the way of time. Yet much remains the same. My home, of course, is rebuilt. My servants slowly return to me. The land has changed, but much is the same. I, after all, am this land. What would it be without me? I shall take my time, observe and regain my strength. Already I can feel her again. She is out there, somewhere. As always, I shall find her. This time things will be different. They were last time, after all. And that means change is possible. I shall have her this time, no matter what. I shall use all my power and make it so. I will defy fate. I will break this curse.